I'm hearing people at the beginning of the year telling me he is not Premier League quality, James. He is not going to cut the mustard. But let me tell you, that is exactly what he's done. Wow, what a year it's been. Possibly the most topsy-turvy Premier League campaign since its inception in 1992. There's been ups, there's been downs, there's been controversy, there's been key injuries, there's been a Super League, all of which happening with no fans in the stadium. It truly has been an extraordinary campaign, but who were the 11 best players in such a turbulent season? Join me as we look through some of the best performers of this last season. Hey guys, it's your boy JT. Welcome back to another video, and yes, it is that time of the season, the business end of the season, the time to make our Premier League team of the season. As always, if you do end up enjoying the video, then a like would always be appreciated. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into the meat of the action. Well, there's only one place to start, and of course it is the goalkeeper position, and for me it has to be Ederson. Man City have yet again cruised towards a Premier League title, and they could have been cruising for a bruising if it wasn't for their Brazilian shot stopper. So far in the league, he's made 34 appearances, racking up 18 clean sheets, 60 saves and 1 assist. Not too many saves, but you do have to take into account the fact that he is playing for Manchester City, who have had a very, very impressive defensive record, which I will touch on in just a bit. Now, I think it's only fair in making this video that we reference the ant and deck of football punditry, Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, and I'm going to have a look at who they put in goal. Jamie Carragher went for Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa, and if you look at the statistics, he does have a point. He's accrued 14 clean sheets, just 4 shy of Ederson's 18, in an Aston Villa side who have conceded 15 more goals. 15! I can't even count my hands. 15 more goals than Manchester City, and he's only kept 4 less clean sheets. So a very, very impressive season for Emiliano Martinez. However, I don't think Ederson's impact can be underrated, and I think there's only one goalkeeper in the league who can potentially rival him, and that would be Gary Neville's choice. Gary Neville has, of course, gone for Eduard Mendy. Eduard Mendy himself has managed to accrue 16 clean sheets, in the process making 53 saves and only making 1 error leading to goal. What you do have to take into account is the fact that Eduard Mendy has not played as much as the other two, because of course at the beginning of this season he wasn't featuring for Chelsea. They were still persevering with Kepa, aka the Spanish Rob Green. Eduard Mendy has only made 29 appearances as a result of that, so 5 shy of both Emi Martinez and Ederson, and only has 2 less clean sheets than Ederson, and they all have the same errors leading to goals. Well, listening to that, you may be thinking, why is Eduard Mendy not in your Premier League team of the season then? Well, let me tell you why not. Look, he offers so much more than just playing in goal. His distribution, his calmness with the ball at his feet, it cannot be underestimated. I mean, just look at the assist he got against PSG the other day, man. Pinging it 40, 50, 60 yards, man. Furthermore, you do have to look at the fact that under Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea have had the best defensive record in the league, bar none. And that has coincided with the vast majority of Eduard Mendy's games. Now it's time to move on to the centre-back partnership. And for me, there is no debate about this. No questions asked at all. Ruben Dias and John Stones. Ruben Dias, what a signing he's been, man. He's completely revolutionised that defence. And John Stones, he was overhated the past 2-3 years. Everyone said he's not going to be nothing. He was basically done out here, Jesse Lingard style. Everyone's saying your career is over, and what happens? He completely transforms himself. He has an absolute renaissance of a season, and he's been imperative to everything Manchester City have done. I actually think that at times he's been the more impressive out of the two of Diaz and Stones, but of course, that is because he has Ruben Dias next to him, kind of leading him and cultivating him into that kind of playing spirit that he has shown this year. And the fact that Laporte has been completely pushed out of the side for these two, can barely get a game because of how impressive John Stones and Ruben Diaz have been. I think it just really goes to show how good they have been this year. And Jamie Carragher has agreed with me. Jamie Carragher, he knows football just like me. He has gone for Ruben Diaz and John Stones. G Nev on the other hand, my man G Nev, G Nev. Maguire. I really don't understand that. I mean, yes, he's had a decent season, and yes, he is working with a literal lump of coal next to him. When I watch him, he's an absolute fridge on wheels. He does not fill me with any confidence. There's no way for me Maguire can be in there. But what do you think? Would you go for John Stones or would you go for Harry Maguire? G Nev and Carragher have both agreed on their left back. They've gone for Luke Shaw, and for me, you can't really hate on that because Luke Shaw, again, if you're talking about renaissances, he's had an absolute blinder of a season compared to his past 3 or 4. Another player who was virtually counted out by every single person out there. I do want to give an honourable mention to Joao Cancelo, who has had a fantastic season, and I can't squeeze him in at right back because of my next pick. And he has played left back at times because Karl Walker's pushed him out of the squad. However, I cannot put him above Luke Shaw in that position. And speaking of Karl Walker, he is of course going to be my right back. Kyle Walker is so underrated. I keep hearing people telling me the guy shouldn't even start for England, that Trent Alexander-Arnold should play or Reece James should play ahead of him. I'm like, what? You can't get past him. He is lightning on that wing. And on the ball, very underrated as well. He's great at storming forward with the ball. Just because he didn't put up Trent Alexander-Arnold numbers, people think he can't do that. That's just because Pep Guardiola gets him to play more of a midfield role other than what Liverpool played last year, where they had the fullbacks bombing down the pitch and getting all the crosses in that way. I'm sure if Kyle Walker was playing in that system, he would get maybe not as many assists as Trent Alexander-Arnold, because I don't think on the ball he's as good, but defensively he is way better, so he'd fit into that system perfectly and his stats would look a lot better. Jamie Carragher, however, disagrees with me and Nev, and he believes that his right back should be Kufal, and I do think it's important to give a West Ham player, you know, a good reference in this, because they have come 5th this year. Well, they're currently sat in 5th at least, and they were odds on top 5 favourites to get relegated at the beginning of the year. So you do have to look at the fact that they have had a stellar campaign, and Kufal has been a big part of that. However, I do not class him in the same bracket as Kyle Walker. The midfield 3 I'm going to do all at once, and because there's 2 absolute guarantees in there, money back guarantees. If you don't have these 2 in your Premier League team of the season, then I don't know what you're watching. And it is of course Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne. Bruno Fernandes is only 1 goal away from breaking Frank Lampard's record tally of 27 Premier League goals, or no, 27 goals from a midfielder in all competitions. He's 1 goal away from breaking that, and although people like to call him Fernandes, he's only scored 9 penalty goals this year. In that season, Frank Lampard scored 10. So if he manages to beat that in his first full campaign in the Premier League, wow. That is crazy numbers. And Kevin De Bruyne, do I even need to talk about Kevin De Bruyne? You already know about him. On the ball, off the ball, brain-wise, feet-wise, skill-wise, flair-wise, unparamounted. So good. The debate, however, comes in that last midfield position, and for me, I think it has to go with 2 people who again have both been put down by Carragher and Gary Neville, and it is of course the debate: do you go N'Golo Kante or do you go for Ilkay Gundogan? It's such a toss-up. It's so tough because they're both in the Champions League final. N'Golo Kante could have been key in getting a Chelsea side who are floundering in 8th position into an FA Cup final and a Champions League final. And if he wins both of them, there is a very compelling argument that he could be put in that team ahead of Gundogan. However, for me, if you're asking my opinion, who needs to go in there out of those 2, it would of course be Stewart Dallas. That's right, no one's talking about Stewart Dallas, but let me tell you about Stewart Dallas. I'm hearing people at the beginning of the year telling me he is not Premier League quality, James. He is not going to cut the mustard, but let me tell you, that is exactly what he's done. He's not just cut the mustard, he's sliced it with a steak knife. He shot it with a double-barrel shotgun. Vital goals against Manchester City. I mean, that Manchester City performance alone should have been enough to get him into the Premier League team of the season. He's played in left back, he's played in central midfield, he's played in attacking midfield, he's played holding midfield at times. He's asked to do so many roles in that Bielsa system, and he is criminally underrated. And if he was putting up these kind of numbers for any kind of top 6 team out there, then he would have been in with a shout. So for me, Stewart Dallas has to finish off that midfield. For the front three, yet again, I do agree with 2 of the 3 that they have put. They have both gone for Felipe Fodenino and Haroldinho Kane. Of course, Harry Kane, top goal scorer in the league. There's no questions asked, no debate about that. And then Felipe Foden, although his statistics haven't necessarily been the best this year, although he is very, very young and he hasn't played so many Premier League minutes specifically, not as many as a lot of the other players out there. He's a future Ballon d'Or winner. You don't understand. The guy is a cut above everyone in this league. The stuff he's doing at his age is simply unparamount. Look at the goals he scores, the way he scores them, the technique, the agility. The guy, honestly, he has the best balance I've ever seen. He can turn from like facing this way to completely 110 degrees the other way in fractions of a fraction of a fraction of the second. The guy is so good. It's unbelievable. And then to finish off the 3, I can't believe none of them have put it. I can't believe people aren't talking about him, but it's Mohamed Salah. The guy, yet again, he scores goals. He scores goals. He's rapid, he's quality, he can turn on a half punch, and he gets numbers year on year. He produces these staggering numbers, and because of that, people, you know, they judge him maybe a higher standards than everyone else in the league, and they judge him very harshly. I mean, look, I'm seeing Rashford and Son, not on the same league as Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah is twice those players. He's better than both of them combined, man. How Mohamed Salah hasn't been put in this Premier League team of the season is beyond me. The guy is head and shoulders above those 2. No questions asked, no questions about it. Second top goal scorer in the league for a Liverpool side who is struggling to get top 4. You look at some of their other performers like Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane's literally come out saying this has been the worst season of my career. So it's clearly been a bad year for Liverpool. But who's been the one shining light in that? Mohamed Salah. The guy has been quality and he has to be in that team for me. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Nev? Or do you agree with Jamie Carragher? Or do you agree with none of us? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down below. But for now, guys, I thank you ever so much for watching. Let me know what your team of the season is. Let me know what you think's going to happen in the last 3 days of the season. And I'll see you in the next one.